Welcome to the Daily Horror Habit Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Krieger, bringing you daily reviews of currently streaming horror movies for your twisted pleasure. Be aware that these reviews may include mild spoilers. And as always, I hope you enjoy. From time to time, I'm going to review films that, while not technically operating within the horror genre, certainly borrow elements from it. And then sometimes I just need an excuse to highlight cool as fuck movies like Blood Machines. Directed by the creative team Seth Ickerman, 2019's Blood Machines is a cosmic sci-fi opera currently streaming on Shudder. When the Mima, a machine with a defective AI system, is shot down by a warship hunting it, a woman's ghost emerges from the machine. Now the warship must pursue this cosmic being through the star system against their superiors' orders. Broken up into 3 episodes, each with a runtime of 20 minutes or less, Blood Machines is more of a pulse-pounding synth musical than a complicated space drama, which actually really works well given it boasts the visuals and score to sell it as such. And hey, it takes less than an hour to watch in its entirety, so you have no real excuse to not just binge it that way, which is the way that it should be experienced. The viewer is introduced to the warship pilots Vaskin and Lago. Lago being the more senior and good-natured pilot, while Vaskin is the youthful and, for lack of a better word, rapey leader. More on that in a moment. As they land to collect the Mima, which they've just shot down, Vaskin's jumped by a gang of interstellar Amazon women who hold him at knife point while conducting a ritual on the Mima. This ritual releases the Mima's AI, which then soars off into the galaxy. A brief skirmish occurs, and Vaskin kidnaps one of the Amazon and uses her to help him track the Mima's fleeing soul. Outside the film's chase narrative, it's fairly ambiguous in establishing its sci-fi setting and the parameters of how its world operates, which is honestly fine given how visually stimulating the entire experience is. The story and characters give the viewer just enough that they get a general sense of what is unfolding, even if they don't necessarily understand all the reasoning behind it. That being said, there isn't much reason to become invested in the characters, nor does their dialogue add much to the enchanting neon spectacle of Blood Machines. Vaskin is instantly unlikable given he threatens to rape his captor, and while Lago is good-natured and kind, he's never given much to say or do. The horror elements come from the idea that the AI's ghost is raising an army of other AI ghosts and uses this power to summon unimaginable forces to defeat her pursuers. In one particular scene, the AI guts an adversary, drinking their blood and essentially possessing their body. So things do get real weird real fast, and while you might not always understand what's happening, the film's style makes it a hell of a fun ride in the process. From the outset, Blood Machine's bold presentation jumps out at the viewer every chance it gets. Its blending of ethereally gorgeous psychedelic visuals and grimy deep space grindhouse aesthetic makes this a truly remarkable spectacle. Its neon-drenched color palette explodes across the screen, daring the viewer to take their eyes off of it for more than a moment. This is very much Yellow Submarine for sci-fi synthwave nerds, and y'all, I'm here for it. This isn't just your standard sci-fi universe, rather it's a fully realized in its weirdness and originality, which is really no easy feat within the sci-fi genre. There's some wonderful ship and weapon design that gives Blood Machines its unpolished aesthetic that truly defines its world like few others do. Warships are hulking behemoths of steel equipped with unconventional deep space weaponry, such as jagged teeth-lined wings, along with harpoons. The world of Blood Machines is a constantly hostile and patched-together one that contrasts nicely to the gorgeous visuals and rip-roaring synthwave soundtrack. Composed by Carpenter Brut, it cannot be understated just how intoxicating the film's score is, as it's the electric lifeblood of the entire experience. Without it, this is all very pretty, but the score captures the true essence of defining this as a sensory journey, the likes of which you've never seen before. Its conclusion is a cacophony of neon-enchanting lasers and space junk being hurled between warring ships, making for an explosively memorable ending. If you're in need of an unforgettable and highly stimulating visual journey through the solar system, Blood Machines has you covered and is currently streaming on Shudder. And that'll do it for another episode of Daily Horror Habit. I'll see you guys next time for another horror movie review. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Daily Horror Habit podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to Daily Horror Habit on your preferred streaming service. And follow @Daily Horror Habit on Instagram or @Daily Horror Pod on Twitter.